And I appreciate an opportunity to I ask unanimous consent that I be allowed to finish my brief remarks before we proceed to the vote.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I'll begin anew. We are about to consider two amendments to the Laken Riley Act. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to Amendment 23, which would strike Section 3 of the Laken Riley Act. And I respect that colleagues on both sides of the aisle have expressed their intention to vote for the Laken Riley bill and to advance it. I have not yet made any such commitment out of concern about the unintended consequences of several provisions of this bill. And I want to briefly speak to the consequences of the section that my amendment would strike. Amidst real resource constraints, unpredictable migration patterns, and fluctuating diplomatic sensitivities, our federal law enforcement officers at ICE and CBP make thousands of complex decisions day in and day out about how to deal with interior enforcement, with border encounters, who to detain and who to release. And it's because these decisions involve so many complex factors that the Supreme Court has repeatedly recognized the federal government is and should be the ultimate authority on enforcement of our immigration laws. Section 3, however, would mark a sea change by inviting every state attorney general to sue whenever they disagree with even an individual level federal decision regarding detention and removal. This could create uncertainty or even chaos by encouraging conflicting lawsuits brought in different states in different courts. I will remind my colleagues, this provision may have been drafted when the view was that Republican state attorneys general would sue a Democratic administration to move closer towards the enforcement vision that they prioritized. Roughly half of the state attorneys general belong to each political party. I hope that my colleagues who have reflected upon the consequences of this provision will conclude that we should not have the division and, frankly, ultimately the chaos in the enforcement of our immigration laws that would likely result from having a raft of lawsuits brought by state attorneys general in courts all over the country, testing and challenging almost literally every detention decision. I believe it is possible for this act to be improved, for it to advance public safety, and for it to make a contribution to the country. And it is my hope that the amendments being offered will be taken up and passed. I will urge a yes vote on my amendment for all of my colleagues, because I think an improved bill should be the ultimate